and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA, Bima Bora kwa Taifa.
Good evening and welcome to Prime Edition. I know in the recent times much of what you've been hearing is about bad news here and bad news there. But tonight, some good news. The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation has acquired the free-to-air rights for the Paris Olympics. That is happening in France. And from the 26th of July to the 11th of August, you will catch that live action right here on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner. I believe I've delivered good news tonight. Welcome to Prime Edition. Here are tonight's highlights.
Na wale wanajaribu kufanya mambo kule ng'ambo, sijui wapi, kupanga mambo ya nini, mimi nataka niwaambie Kenya is a democratic nation.
Foreign forces at play. President William Ruto says anti-tax bill protests fueled by individuals keen to grab power through the back door. Facing backlash, Farah Maalim summoned by National Cohesion and Integration Commission over his remarks as Wiper Party expels and whips him. And emerging cracks. Trouble as Azimio coalition members take different stands on the planned multi-sectoral dialogue meeting with government. And we'll be giving you deeper details as regards the FTA rights, as the free-to-air rights granted to KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner, regarding the Paris Olympics that run from the 26th of July to the 11th of August. Be sure to catch up with that action right here on KBC Channel 1. Brian Muraru is a sign language interpreter. My name is John Jacob Kioria. You're very much welcome to the broadcast. To start us off, President William Ruto is linking a foreign hand in the recent anti-finance bill protests rocked the country. The president, who spoke in Kajiado County for the first time to the public since the protests broke out, said unnamed individuals wanted to use shortcuts to ascend to power, and that Kenya was a democratic nation and citizens will have an opportunity in 2027 to make their choices in the ballot, as Giverson Minor now tells us.
Interrogating the anti-finance bill protest by young people for the first time in public, President William Ruto on Wednesday accused undisclosed foreign powers of interfering in Kenya's political affairs.
Na wale wanajaribu kufanya mambo kule ng'ambo, sijui wapi, kupanga mambo ya nini, mimi nataka niwaambie Kenya is a democratic nation.
The president, who spoke in Kajiado County, said unscrupulous individuals wanted to employ unorthodox means to ascend to power.
Ile kitu mimi nataka niwaulize ndugu zetu wa Kenya, tusikubali nchi yetu iharibike, ama tulete fujo, ama mambo ya vita, ama mambo ya ambayo itaharibu amani ya taifa letu la Kenya.
Insisting that Kenya is a democracy, the president urged Kenyans to allow the government and elected leaders deliver on their promises until 2027, when they will exercise their constitutional right to choose their next leaders.
Sisi ni nchi ya demokrasia, na katika demokrasia wananchi ndio wanaamua, na wanaamua katika uchaguzi. So kila mtu ajipange. Mimi najipanga, hii uchaguzi tutakutana, si ndio? Hakuna problem, si ndio? Tutakutana kwa uchaguzi na kila mtu atakuja atandike kazi yake ile amefanya.
The president also assured the junior secondary school intern teachers that they will be retained in permanent and pensionable terms by the end of this year, despite the economic challenges.
Despite the challenges we have in the finance bill, we are going to make sure that we confirm all teachers under JSS before the end of this year so that they can teach knowing that as we agreed, they will serve under permanent and pensionable terms.
Further, President Ruto revealed that the country will transit to new social health insurance fund beginning 1st October this year. Giverson Minor, Prime Edition.
And now the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, has summoned Dadaab Member of Parliament Farah Maalim to facilitate investigations into his controversial remarks on the recent protests. The Wiper Party legislator has been instructed to present himself to the NCIC officers on Thursday at 11 a.m., failure to which he would be arrested. In the video, which has since become viral, the legislator was heard allegedly stating that if he was Kenya's commander-in-chief, he would have clamped down ruthlessly on demonstrators. As Abdiaziz Hashim now reports, the Wiper Party, that is the national executive of the Wiper Party, has resolved to de-whip Maalim from all committees in Parliament following the remarks.
It is a video clip that has attracted widespread condemnation both on and offline. The Dadaab legislator, who spoke in his local dialect, sparked a debate after stating that if he was the country's head of state,
Serious. There's not two ways about it in statecraft.
he would have dealt mercilessly with the demonstrators who stormed Parliament during the Finance Bill of 2024 debate. Sentiments that has attracted sanctions from the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. The Reverend Samuel Kobia-led commission has summoned the legislator in accordance with Section 27 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act No. 12 of 2008. Maalim is required to appear before the commission, and failure to appear in person at the said place, date and time is an offence as provided under Section 63C, as read with Section 63E, will lead to his arrest. The NCIC further noted that the utterances were likely geared to incite feelings of contempt, hatred, hostility, violence or discrimination. Consequently, the Commission views that this will affect the harmonious coexistence between groups of different political affiliations in the country.
It's all editing, you know what I mean, and cutting and pasting and taking a word from here, another one from here, and putting it together. There's a lot of nonsense there.
Really?
And yeah. It's Somalis basically who would do that, and for other reasons. I mean,
Wiper Democratic Movement.
This comes as the Wiper Party has distanced itself from the remarks allegedly made by the Dadaab Member of Parliament Farah Maalim over the Finance Bill 2024 demonstrations. Wiper said Maalim's alleged conduct is against the guiding principles of the party. The Wipers and National Executive Council resolved to de-whip Maalim from all committees in Parliament.
Next decisions is that the Honorable Farah Maalim be de-whipped from all committees in Parliament, including the Speaker's panel. NEC also commented expulsion, comments.
The Commission has also summoned one Merimet for alleged inciting comments, which the elder made during a past unspecified event in Nakuru County. Merrimet will also be required to report to the Commission's headquarters in Nairobi on Thursday at 11 a.m. to facilitate investigations into the matter. Abdiaziz Hashim for Prime Edition.
Let's stay on politics a bit, and cracks have begun to emerge in the opposition ranks over the proposed national multi-sectoral forum expected to kick off on Monday. While the Raila Odinga-led ODM party has backed the position taken by the former premier on the path of dialogue and embracing the multi-sectoral forum, Wiper and Jubilee parties, which are constituent parties of the Azimio coalition, have distanced themselves, calling on the executive to immediately act on the demands by the youth.
That we give people an opportunity to be heard, to express themselves, to come out with the grievances which are actually ailing our country today.
This was Azimio la Umoja One Kenya party leader Raila Odinga's sentiments on Tuesday in the presence of President William Ruto. Both leaders charting a common front in announcing the commencement dates for the proposed National Multi-Agency Forum, expected to kick off Monday and end Saturday next week. Sentiments that drew a barrage of criticism from young people who took to social media to accuse the political class of hijacking their course. Azimio constituent parties such as Jubilee, Wiper and NARC Kenya claim the multi-sectoral forum route will yield no result and allege it's a delaying tactic.
We are fully behind and in support of Gen Z. The things they are fighting for ni mambo ambayo wengine tunasikia kama wamesikia lakini hawajaelewa.
You don't need dialogue. Dialogue is not required to assess public debt because the Auditor General's office has the same goal. You do not need dialogue to post medical interns or to sack corrupt government officials.
In a move pointing to existential cracks within the opposition ranks, the Jubilee and Wiper party leadership have demanded that the executive immediately addresses issues raised by the young protesters.
There are so many reports out of dialoguing that part of the reasons why the young people are actually protesting is because they're also fed up with dialogues.
We want you to take the lead in shaping the conversation here and on the national council.
The ODM party, on the other hand, has told of Raila's critics, insisting that they stood with the position taken by their party leader. In a statement authored by party chairman John Mbadi, ODM has called on the party membership to align with the party's latest position, defending the move as a classic act of his statesmanship. Yusufar reporting for Prime Edition.
An autopsy report on the body of 23-year-old Denzel Omondi, whose body was found floating in a deserted quarry in Juja, has revealed that he died by drowning. The third-year student at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology went missing in mysterious circumstances a day after he was spotted outside Parliament during the anti-finance bill protests. His family is now demanding justice. John Kahiro has the details.
On the 25th of June 2024, Denzel Omondi, who was a quantity survey student, is seen protesting at the precincts of Parliament in Nairobi. The third-year student at JKUAT will later be seen at the university premises the following day before he allegedly went missing in unclear circumstances. The search for Denzel ended when his body was found floating in a deserted quarry in Juja. His father, James Otieno, recounts the last moment he spoke to the Sun.
Usubuhi tarehe 27 nilipata kumpigia simu. Kufika mwendo wa saa 8 kumpigia tena alikuwa mteja.
He will later receive distressing calls informing him about the disappearance of his son.
Mtu wa ukoo nyumbani akanipigia simu ya kwamba kuna jambo ambalo anaona kwa mtandao na zile ishara zinaonyesha kwamba inaweza kuwa Denzel maana kuwa na kitambulisho chake cha shule na cha kitaifa. Ikabidi nikimbie nikuje hapa Jarokago nidhibitishe kwamba ni yeye ama si yeye. Kwa bahati mbaya nilikuta ilikuwa ni mwili wake.
A tearful and distraught Jadida Otieno, the mother of the late Denzel, described him as an industrious person whose future ended tragically, leaving them with more questions than answers.
He was promising And we used to talk a lot. And he promised to do so many things in our home. But unfortunately, the fate has got it.
At the KBC General Cargo Funeral Home, pathologists who conducted an autopsy on the body of the late Omondi revealed he drowned.
We have the pathology report, but we, as Irungu has just informed you, there were bruises on his knees and on the back of his head. And at the time he was put in the water, he was still breathing. So we still want to pursue all other avenues, and we wait for the DCI and the other independent bodies to give us the circumstances of what happened.
The report also showed his body had bruises at the back of his head and on his legs. Human rights groups have called for investigations into his disappearance and death.
We demand a credible investigation that is independent, that is thorough, to reveal and prosecute who it is that may have contributed to the death of Denzel Omondi.
The family want IPOA to investigate the matter. John Kahiro, Prime Edition.
It's a very sad story. Let's move this forward. Striking medical interns have posted the Occupy the Ministry of Health vigil to allow for talks between the ministry and the Kenya Medical Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, that is agitating for their rights. The interns who have been camping at the ministry's headquarters want the implementation of a 2017 collective bargaining agreement, CBA, implemented, vowing to resume the protests on Monday next week if their grievances are not fully addressed. This came even as the Health Cabinet Secretary, Susan Nakhumicha, claimed a group of individuals have hatched a plan to paint the ministry as incompetent.
The medical interns have now suspended their vigil at the Ministry of Health to allow for discussions between KMPDU, that is fighting for their interest, and the Ministry of Health. The interns, however, had a caveat in suspending the vigil, vowing to return on Monday should the talks fail. The interns have outlined their reducible minimums, which include being given posting letters in regards to the 2017 CBA, and which was agreed on in May this year. Their demands came even as Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha, in a statement, said her ministry has held open and candid discussions with union officials and interns. This is taking a swipe at unnamed individuals she claims are working hard to paint the ministry in a bad image. Nakhumicha further revealed that as of today, the number of interns awaiting posting across the cadres was 3,760, with a total budget of 4.6 billion shillings. However, due to the budget ceiling, the ministry received an allocation of 3.7 billion shillings in the financial year 2024-2025 for internship. Nakhumicha assured the interns that following the gazettement of the Presidential Task Force to address long-standing issues on human resource for health, the ministry is optimistic for a solution on how matters of internship will be handled going forward. Serafina Ruby for Prime Edition.
In the corridors of justice, a man who allegedly broke into Parliament buildings and disabled CCTV cameras a day before protesters stormed in has been charged at the Milimani Lockups. Kevin Mwameri Mangare was arrested with electrical switches stolen from Parliament, and that is worth 2.6 million shillings, and is said to have gained access to Parliament 4 times between April 23rd and July 2024.
Mwamiri, who appeared before Senior Principal Magistrate Gilbert Chikwe, is alleged to have broken into the basement number 2 area of the main Parliament building on April 23rd, where he stole 2 Cisco CCTV switches belonging to Maga Security Solution Company at around 6:30 p.m.
Otherwise, then in the course of stealing, he dishonestly undertook the retention of 1 CCTV switch, Mac Cisco, serial number FOC 25521ZL4 for your own benefit, knowing or having reason to believe them to be stolen goods. Is it true or not?
The suspect was also charged with breaking into Parliament on May 20th at around 6 p.m. and stealing more CCTV switches from Maga Security Solution Company.
It's because I was pressed on the floor, on the back, I was beaten on the leg, several places. Because I had, back in 2018, I had a problem in I was seeing a specialist in neurosurgery. So the same day I was beaten badly, so this side on the left side, my hearing is not working. Then I can't sleep at night anytime because I have this continuous headache.
Mwamiri pleaded not guilty to the charges and was released on a bond of 500,000 shillings. On the same protest, Brethaman has denied 2 charges of malicious damage and theft of property belonging to KRA offices in Town, amounting to 6 million shillings during the anti-finance bill protest on June 24th, 2024.
Kuiba na kwa njia ambayo ni udanganyifu ulibaki na moja kiti nyeusi executive chair na MDF chipboard 7 ukijua na ya kwamba ilikuwa ni mali ya wizi.
Anthony Kiigeo appeared before senior resident magistrate Joan Otieno, pleaded for leniency, claiming he is an orphan living with his grandmother.
Mtasikizwa tarehe 16 mwezi wa 10, lakini kutaja hii kesi tarehe 16 mwezi wa 7 ili upewe makaratasi.
Elsewhere, the hearing of a case in which Tana River Senator Danson Mungatana and 17 others are accused of defrauding the county government of Kilifi 51 million shillings has kicked off in Malindi. Gabriel Mukare, a former IFMIS liaison officer, informed the court how 6 companies associated with the lawmaker siphoned money from the devolved unit accounts at the Central Bank of Kenya by fraudulent means. Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition.
Unajua, token meter yako inahitaji system update. Ni rahisi na ni free. Ukipata ujumbe kutoka Kenya Power, yani SMS, weka kodi ya kwanza kureset, alafu weke kodi ya pili kuupdate ili token meter yako iendelee kufanya kazi kama kawaida. Update token meter yako. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
What's up guys, this is Marku. Unajua nini? Nimekuja at Kenya Coast National Polytechnic and I'm here kukupatia form. Sasa form ni gani? Form ni hivi, Friday, next coming Friday, yani 12th of July, we'll be camping here. Tutakuja hapa kuanzia mida ya saa 3 mpaka saa 6. Myself, the whole crew, me, Ken Wanjibi and Gets, we're bringing you so much more. Kama vipi Ken?
Vibes mjengoni. Dancers wakali kutoka Vipawa Academy, interviews kali pamoja na wasanii wakali kutoka pande hizi. Kumbuka kitu ambacho kipo tunajiachia mjengoni this Friday. Mashavu ni mpango mzima, usikose jamaa Kamini kwa Bondoma kuchali mastikon kibetini astoko na tunaziwasha Rangwa wada na mastim hadi rangwa kete zimeshika na sitemi ni mapema nduku sikitims unasema ingine nenda chini peri isiyo sauti rohoni unisanifu.
Miongoni mwa wanawake ambao wanachukuliwa kama mashujaa katika Waislamu ni kama vile Khadija ambaye alikuwa mke wa kwanza wa Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Na vile vile pia Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alimjalia kuwa shahidi wa kwanza wakati ambao Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam alipokea utume kutoka kwa Allah.
Sasa huyu mwanamke ni shujaa, anatupigia mfano subira. Na nyinyi wanawake na wasichana mjipambe na subira. Isiwe kwa sababu kidogo tu, labda shida kidogo, unauza imani yako ya la ilaha illa Allah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Rahman ya Rahim, خلينا جينا قلبي سليم وبحق شهر الصوم يا كريم تغفر لنا وترحم.
Is this all you want for yourself?
Well, you don't know the terms of my employment, do you?
Have you met your replacement?
I'm about to.
I now see why he could be interested in you.
What are you talking about here?
Hufai kuwa hii Kenya, Ronald.
I'm tired of everyone telling me what I should do.
No, Kaikara, you're not seeing a ghost. It's good to see you again, Ronald.
How can I help?
By finding out what they are planning. Looks like you came to get your hands dirty, huh?
I don't see any other way, Nick.
Hakuna watchman huku?
Because you feel exposed, Dama.
Everybody has got something to lose. I always get what I want.
Surprise me, Kaikara. Or else I will.
Welcome back. You are watching the Prime Edition. And just a reminder that tonight we'll be having a conversation with the Principal Secretary in the State Department for Investments Promotion, and we'll be talking about economic empowerment through investments. And our guest tonight is the PS in charge of that department, that is Abubakar Hassan Abubakar. Be sure to catch up with that conversation. But moving on, the National Heroes Council has launched a 5-year strategic plan that will guide it on implementing key targets, among them identifying heroes across the country and how to honor them. Gender and Culture Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa, who presided over the launch, said the government was keen on having its heroes and those who have contributed immensely to the growth of the country be inscribed in the Hall of Fame.
National Heroes Council has launched its 5-year strategic plan that will guide it to the launch of a plan at the Bomas of Kenya, coincided with the unveiling of its new corporate logo.
Congratulations, Mr. Wambia and team. You have made us proud because this is now a reality and you have made it possible.
Speaking while presiding over the event, Gender and Culture Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa said the plan will ensure a sound strategic direction for the council as it embarks on its mandate. Jumwa said the strategic plan will provide a platform for the council to enhance its brand for citizens to engage and clearly understand the process of identifying and honoring heroes.
To call upon each one of us to work together and ensure that the strategic plan is fully implemented as per the vision and goals outlined herein in the next 5 years.
The CS further challenging the council to redouble its effort and avoid past mistakes where undeserving individuals were honored at the expense of women, persons living with disability, and those who have made great contributions to the development of this country.
I therefore wish to call upon the council members led by the chairperson to ensure the tenets and aspirations outlined in this document are fully implemented for realization of the mandate of the National Heroes Council.
I want to share with you that we are working closely with the county government, and we shall keep on associating ourselves with the county government to ensure that we achieve our goals.
National Heroes Council Chairman Jimmy Angwenyi and Chief Executive Officer Charles Wambia expressed commitment to ensure the strategic plan achieves its desired purpose.
For the strides made by the first Heroes Council, on which we have based our strategic plan, the work they did for the first Heroes Council.
Madam CS, we invite you to be part of this journey of this baby. We are very much ambitious. As young as we are, our ambition is not going to be stopped.
And to some breaking news that has just come in, the High Court Judge David Majanja has died this evening from complications of surgery. He was receiving treatment at a Nairobi hospital, and that's the latest, that High Court Judge David Majanja is dead. You remember him for landmark rulings in the Human Rights Division of the High Court. And the news that has just reached us is that the judge is now gone. May his soul rest in eternal peace. The completion of pending road projects will have to be put on hold in the wake of the rejection of the finance bill. This was the message by Roads Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, who appeared before the Senate on Wednesday. Murkomen told the Senate that his ministry had a pending bill of 165 billion shillings that requires to be paid to pave way for the works on the roads. This, as the Prime Cabinet Secretary and the CS for Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, revealed that 316 Kenyans had died while working in Gulf states for the last 1.5 years.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
While responding to questions from senators regarding the delay in completion of road construction projects, Roads and Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen cited limited funds in the wake of budgetary changes.
For the 2 years I've been in office, in terms of budget allocation and disbursement, the actual money that came to the ministry to chase the road portfolio of 150 billion then was only about 50 billion. And Mr. Speaker, when the 50 billion was paid, of course the contractors incurred another pending bill. That moved it to, again, 165 billion.
The CS, in absolving himself of any blame, noted there is need for drastic changes.
Unless from the Treasury and Parliament through budget, we have a drastic decision-making for a one-off payment of the contractors of the 165 billion, we will be lying to the nation, and I will continue being that minister being accused if we lie to the nation that we are going to complete these roads in time.
He said a total of 37 billion is required to restore roads damaged by floods, which would have been catered for in the enhanced roads maintenance levy.
We have tried to behave like an African father who does not want to tell his children the exact state of his pocket, in the hope that in the fullness of time, you will get something and you will satisfy your children. Unfortunately, the impatience of your children can easily eat you because you've been trying to hide the truth of what it is. I have decided, Mr. Speaker, that we lay it bare so that the people of Kenya know the state of their infrastructure, the state of their accounts, their budgets, so that then they will know whether they will be ready to make sacrifices in other sectors to complete the roads.
Meanwhile, CS for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, informed the House that a total of 316 Kenyans have lost their lives in the Gulf states, even as he indicated that not all Kenyans register with the country's missions.
So, Madam Speaker, under the circumstances, it's not easy at this stage to be able to say that we can avail all the identities of these 416,000 individuals in the Gulf states.
That a whopping 316 of them have died while out of the country. It shows, Madam Speaker, that this answer will not only bolster the employers who, in one way or the other, contribute to the death of these people, but also it will discourage parents.
416,548 Kenyans work in the Gulf states, with Saudi Arabia employing 310,266.
There is every possibility that those who die and they were taken there by these recruitment agencies, possibly the government does not have their data. So what is the ministry doing about this? The issue of unregistered and unscrupulous recruitment agency.
On the websites of the State Department for Diaspora, we are able to indicate the licensed recruitment agencies.
Qatar has 66,025 Kenyans, with UAE employing 23,000, Bahrain, Oman and Kuwait employing 8,000, 5,000 and 3,000 respectively. Kamchemenza for Prime Edition.
Kupitia kwa star 570 hash tunakupa nafasi ya kuchomoka na this brand new Mazda Demio.
Enjoy a beautiful, clean, semi-leather interior, low mileage, touchscreen and a reverse cam, fuel-efficient 1300cc engine, great for personal use and business. Ukitaka kujishindia gari hili, kucheza ni rahisi sana. Chukua simu yako, bonyeza *570#, chagua option number 4, kisha unajiunga na draw. Kumbuka kucheza mara kadhaa, because the more you play, the higher chances of wewe kuwa mshindi.
Gari ya pili ni yako. Ni yako.
Hii Julai, jishindie Demio na Loto Moto. Tucheze, tusaidie na tushinde.
Kenya Power inafanya exercise ya ku-update token meters. Na hii exercise ni free. Lakini tulipata ripoti kuwa kuna mtu ambaye anaitisha wapangaji pesa.
Token machine ni yangu ama ni yako?
Ni ya Kenya Power kwanza, lakini kwanza wametupatia tuna nini?
Very good. Inakuchanga direct kwa nyumba yako ama inakuja kwa nyumba yangu?
Inakuja kwa nyumba yangu, lakini
very nice. Sasa ujinga ni nini unaniletea hapa?
Swali ngoja ujibiwe.
Wewe ni wewe nauliza hata wewe. Nikieleza hii mahakama unanipenda na unanikatianga na mimi nikakataa, ndio unakuja kuniweka kwa mimi shida yote. Nitakuwa naeleza mahakama urongo. Sasa ukweli clear.
You know,
I know you laugh. What are you waiting here asking me silly questions?
Am I asking silly questions? Yeye anakuuliza maswali ama wewe ndio unamuuliza?
Ndio sasa.
Alafu wewe ndio unauliza silly questions.
Yes.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Prime Edition. All that glitters does not always turn out to be gold. There's a lesson that struggling youth seeking a better life abroad would painfully learn as they find themselves at the center of an organ trafficking syndicate. Theirs is the torturous journey of deception, exploitation, manipulation, and broken promises, neatly disguised as benevolence. This is the reality for Mvera, the lead actress in the film Mvera, which is our focus tonight on the weekly segment Cinemas and Theatre. Our reporter Jacqueline Masharia goes behind the scenes of the movie that exposes corruption and demonstrates how not all acts of generosity should be celebrated.
The film Mvera, produced in the coast, centers on Mvera, a female character driven by two primary objectives: a quest to reunite with her estranged mother and a desperate bid to escape poverty.
Kwani walichagua tu kivipi? Mimi sitaki kuishi hapa maisha yangu yote.
Her desperation would see her stop at nothing to turn her misfortunes into fortunes. Little does she know this would lead her down a path of treachery. Mvera is a part of a group of youth who jump at an opportunity offered by a local politician known as the BT to work abroad, an opportunity that quickly turns into a nightmare.
Wanapanga kutuua. Tutafanya nini?
Hii ni concept ambayo tulitengeneza kwa ajili kwa tunakuja na idea ya a modern Mekatilili. At first nilikuwa nataka kushoot story ya Mekatilili kwa ajili hizo ndo stories tumekuwa tukizisikiza tangu tuwe wadogo, lakini budget yake ilikuwa expensive kiasi ya Mekatilili, ndo nikajiambia kuwa ni time ya sisi kutengeneza stories ambazo ziko kwa muda huu. Ni story ambayo yatuonyesha jinsi ambao kila mtu saizi hapa coast akimaliza form 4, yeye kila mtu ataka kwenda kusafiri nje ya nchi, hataki kufanya kazi kwa nchi yake. So ni vitu ambazo tuna grow tukiziona, na ni challenges ambao mimi mwenyewe nishaona kwa one of the people ambao namjua imemwaffect.
David Anguka, the film director, tells us there were 9 drafts of the script before they settled on the final storyline. The cast was also carefully selected.
Niliamua cast wote watakuwa Mombasa, extras wote watakuwa villagers, and nilichukua mahesabu mengi sana kufikiria hivyo, kwa ajili kumbuka una invest kwa project ya pesa, kwa cast pia unatarajia uwe na cast ambao wako na numbers ili ndio waweze kusukuma ile kipindi. But Kwangu hiyo haikuwa important. Kwangu kitu important ilikuwa ni performance na story, which ambao kwa tumewakia najua kwa uwezo. Na wakati nililocast yangu niliwaambia tumekuwa tukishoot TV series sana, leo saizi tunashoot feature film, nataka wa change style yao ya performance.
Production of the movie took 3 weeks. So how was the filming behind the scenes?
Nakumbuka kwanza scenario moja tukifanya scene moja ambayo ilikuwa ni technical. Ilikuwa faa tu roll gari. Place tulipanga fa hiyo gari yanguke. Hiyo gari ilienda ikapita hiyo shimo. Ikapita location ambayo kwa tumeiset isimamie na ilikuwa inateremka. Na najua hiyo kama ingeendelea kuteremka ile jamaa saa hizi ingekuwa tunasema hayuko duniani. Nashukuru Mungu tuliweza kupata vipande kidogo katika hiyo scene, but tunashukuru ile jamaa pia hakuweza kuumia hivyo. First tukilaunch Mvera ilikuwa ni Cinemax and the reception ilikuwa top notch. Watu walikuja walisupport. Nadhani for the first time kwa industry ya Mombasa Cinemax kuweza kuja 2 halls na watu bado wanataka ticket. Na hiyo ni kwa ajili ya Mvera. Imechange world ya audience wale walikuwa bado wa support local content. And hii inaonyesha kuwa tukitengeneza project first of all tufikirie Africa na countries zote iwe Europe na wapi itaweza consume projects zetu.
As the reality of the situation unfolds, Mvera embarks on a dangerous journey to escape and warn her community about the beat's true nature. The stakes are high, as the very man who deceived them is on the brink of becoming governor. He is a master of deceit, selling hope but delivering hopelessness. Will she make it in time to stop him?
Njoo nyumbani haraka, la sivyo nyanyako amefariki.
Sai filamu ya Mvera iko ndani ya Netflix. Make sure umesubscribe kwa ndani ya Netflix uweze kuchukua app yako, na kuna movies nyingi, lakini kwanza tunakuomba ukiingia angalia movie ya Mvera kwa ajili ukisupport local content, hapo pia sisi saidie tu sinema inazidi kutamba.
Mvera nenda wakitushika hapa. Jacqueline Sharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
What's up guys, this is Marco. Unajua nini? Nimekuja at Kenya Coast National Polytechnic and I'm here kukupatia form. Sasa form ni gani? Form ni hivi, Friday, next coming Friday, yani 12th of July, we'll be camping here. Tutakuja hapa kuanzia mida saa 3 mpaka saa 6. Myself, the whole crew, me, Ken Wanjibi and Gets, we're bringing you so much more. Kama vipi Ken?
Vibes mbinguni. Dancers wakali kutoka Vipawa Academy, interviews kali pamoja na wasanii wakali kutoka pande hizi. Kumbuka kitu ambacho kipo tunajiachia mjengoni this Friday. Mashavu ni mpango mzima, usikose jamaa Kamini kwa boto makuchali mastikon kibetini astoko na tunaziwasha rangwa wada na masti madi rangwa kete zimeshika na sitemi ni mapema ndugu sikiteams unasema ingine nenda chini.
I was thinking to go for an all-white gender reveal party.
Oh, well, Pitya can help you with that.
Hell no.
Have you been invited to the traditional wedding?
She can go and marry the Prince of Dubai and I still won't care.
Mazungumza na Christine. I'm not moving back in with you.
Do you think I'd let you leave me for that mysterious man that keeps calling you?
Baba Felix!
I know my wife. You have to talk to Kristen. She's not thinking straight right now. And I can't afford to lose her.
Jack, you think this is a house that you can just walk in as you please?
Hata huko wenyewe, sawa?
trust that you've had a wonderful week and a good Wednesday. My name is Wairimu Jenga. We look at the day's news. Now, around 560,000 residents in Nairobi, Kiambu, Kajiado, and surrounding areas will now be able to enjoy steady power after the energizing of the new Kimuka substation. While officially commissioning the substation, President William Ruto said that the supply of adequate and reliable power will increase confidence levels among investors, resulting in new and expanded investments in the manufacturing.
The Ministry of Energy is looking to ensure that the country achieves 100% electricity connectivity and 100% green energy mix by 2030. Part of these efforts include the building of substations that will further reinforce the existing distribution network in densely populated areas such as the Greater Nairobi metropolitan area, resulting in improved power quality and reliability and reduction in technical losses.
Wakati tumejenga hii substation, kuna wananchi wa hapa wametuuliza hii stima haiwezi kuja hapa na sisi hatuna stima makwetu. Sasa nimekuja hapa, tuko na shilingi milioni 20 ya kuunganisha watu wote wa kijiji hii.
Speaking during the commissioning of the new Kimuka substation, President Ruto said the new 220/66 kilovolt substation will now supply parts of Nairobi and surrounding areas through 5 66 kilovolts feeder lines to Karen, Dagoretti, Kikuyu, Ngong, Matasia, Magadi, and Ngemwa KPC pumping station.
Kila mbunge tumemweleza pesa ya sub-county yako ni kiasi fulani, pangana na wananchi pale mashinani, mjue ni kijiji gani haina stima, mjue ni shule gani, mjue ni market gani, ndio tuhakikisha kwamba tunaunganisha stima, ndio tulete usawa katika taifa letu la Kenya.
The substation completes the 220 kilovolt ring around Nairobi, which is part of the Associated Substations project, which once completed will offer an alternative supply path for power into the Nairobi metropolitan region. It will additionally remove the load from the existing overload substations.
With the ring system is that it increases it makes the grid more robust, reliable, and also resilient. So if you lose one side of the ring, you can only supply from the other side of the ring. So that's what we have done.
The scope of the project involves the construction of 103 kilometers of 400 kilovolt double circuit line from Suswa substation to Isinya substation, rated at 1,200 megawatts, 220 kilovolt substations at Suswa and Isinya, as well as 220/66 kilovolt substations at Kimuka, at the River and Komarok. The Kimuka project has been financed by Agence Française de Développement, European Investment Bank, and the Government of Kenya, to the tune of $25 million.
The benefit of substations like this one, ring-fenced around the Nairobi metropolitan area, is that residents will experience less disruptions, especially when maintenance of power infrastructure is being undertaken. Alanauko, Prime Edition.
Now, the government is planning to audit all roads transferred to the county governments by the National Government for Maintenance, Roads and Transport. Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says some counties may be receiving funds for roads that were transferred to the Kenya Rural Roads Authority.
In 2015, the government completed the process of designating county and national roads after years of protracted battles with the Council of Governors. Rural roads were transferred to the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, drawing major condemnation from the counties. Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says the ministry is planning to gazette all roads that have been transferred from the devolved units to the Kenya Rural Roads Authority.
What we have done is to make sure that we sign MOUs with counties that request KERA that you can maintain these roads. We have also expedited the process of graduating the roads from through Kenya Roads Boards, handed over from counties to national government and gazetted, so that if we find counties still maintaining a road that is already gazetted at national level, it becomes now easy for the Auditor General to point out.
Murkomen says the exercise is meant to reduce incidences of double road maintenance allocation of funds.
The problem of duplication is real. But, Mr. Speaker, it's not general. It's specific to certain areas, and it's a problem we are grappling with, even with the ministry.
Murkomen says this has seen some counties still receive maintenance disbursements despite transferring the roads to KERA.
This area, especially in marginalized counties, This area of allocation of devolved roads money is still a little bit, the accountability is not up to date, and it's something we are working with on the minister, and it's good to acknowledge as it is.
The road CS has further said the government will carry out a real-time mapping of all roads in the country to examine the extent of damages caused by the recent floods.
This initiative aims to facilitate timely repair and reconstruction efforts.
The Ministry of Roads estimates that 37 billion shillings are needed to repair roads that were damaged by the recent floods. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, the management of the Amboseli National Park is now headed to the county government of Kajiado. This follows the conclusion of the public participation process, where the majority of respondents endorsed the transfer. Residents from Kajiado County said the transfer will help create jobs and generate revenue for the devolved unit. However, the proposal was also opposed by a section of the public who say the county doesn't have the requisite capacity to manage the park. In 2023, President William Ruto directed the Ministry of Tourism to hand over the management of the park to Kajiado County.
The national resource that is sitting on us and we are not benefiting. They are collecting 1.4 billion and they reinvest 100 million. Clearly, where is 1.3 million going? It's not helping the community. It's not helping the youth. It's not helping the county.
In Masai Mara, where is that going? If you are saying that this money goes to community, there should be hospitals free of charge, schools free of charge, there should be water to all the communities around Masai Mara, there should be universities in Masai Mara. What is happening there?
And I'm in support of the Amboseli to go back to Kajiado County. Our children are not going to school because of those animals. We live with them on over our fences. We live with them in our chambers. We cannot plant in our farms because of the elephants there.
Lay your fears. We will keep it for you. We will share the resource with everybody of you, and that we are also giving us an opportunity to also showcase on our ability.
Or more than 80% of wildlife in that ecosystem is not found within the boundaries of the national park, but are within the premises of the group ranches and the community. So we want to believe that there will be sustainability once the community is brought on board.
The revenue that has been collected in the Amboseli has not much benefited the park and has not benefited the people. So we have to agree that for it to serve the community around it, and this we mean education, just like what Narok are benefiting, infrastructure, healthcare and everything, it has to come down to the people.
What are other counties going to do? What is the future of Savo? What's the future of Meru National Park and other parks in the country? And other counties going to come up with the same proposals? And if that happens, what's the future of Kenya Wildlife Service and others?
Well, that marks the end of business news for tonight. On the other end of the studio, we have Bernard Okumu with the day's sports. Over to you, Bernard.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Caro. Time to get the latest from the world of sports with me, Bernard Okumu. And let's begin with Olympics, where Bridget Kosgei has pulled out of the 2024 Olympic Games women's marathon due to an injury. Bridget, who won a silver medal at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, has been replaced by 2022 New York Marathon champion Sharon Lokedi, who will now team up with compatriots Peres Jepchirchir and Helen Obiri at the Paris Games with the women's marathon scheduled for the last day of the Olympics on 11th of August. Now, the good news to the sporting fraternity is that KBC has acquired exclusive free-to-air broadcast rights for this year's Olympic Games and will bring you all the action live from Paris, France. Bridget Kosgei has been training for the past 2 months in Eldoret with her compatriots, who include defending champion Peres Jepchirchir, ahead of the Olympic Games. In a statement, the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOC, said Bridget sustained an injury while in training and was forced to pull out of the Games. Bridget won silver at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games behind winner Peres Jepchirchir and was eyeing her second appearance at the Games, all determined to make it count. The 2022 New York Marathon champion Sharon Lokedi, who was initially named in the reserve team, will replace Bridget Kosgei and team up with US best Helen Obiri and Peres Jepchirchir in Paris as Kenya seeks to defend their title during the women's marathon, which will be held on the final day of the Games on the 11th of August this year. KBC Channel 1 has acquired exclusive free-to-air rights for the Paris Olympic Games. And Ulinzi Starlets have retained the FKF Women's Cup after they overcame Kibera Soccer Ladies 2-1 in an unentertaining final played at the Police Sacco Stadium. Now Police Bullets finished third after a 4-3 win over Zitex Sparks.
Cheryl Angechi gave the defending champions an early lead in the 6th minute as Kibera Soccer Ladies tried to counter-attack, looking for an equalizer in vain. Linda Kihara doubled the score for Ulinzi Starlets in the 40th minute as they controlled the proceedings before the breather. Kibera Soccer Ladies came back re-energized to grab a consolation goal in the 75th minute, but that was it as Ulinzi won their third title. In the third place playoff, newly crowned FKF Women's Premier League champions Police Bullets added another silverware to their collection this year when they beat Zitex Sparks 4-3 to take bronze.
This season lazima tuifanye poa because our first game itakuwa Super Cup against Police and najua itakuwa game kali na we have to prepare very well through pre-season to make sure that before your cup ifike prepare very well.
Tulianza msimu kama tumechelewa sababu hatukuwa na finance, tulipata sponsor kama bado wiki mbili ligi ianze. So tena wengi tulipata ni wale wenye walikuwa wamedropiwa kwa hizo timu zao. So sasa tulipata watu tunatarajia, lakini msimu tunaanza kusajili mapema na kutakuwa na mabadiliko makubwa sana na tutaangalia pia vile wanacheza mpira itakuwa na mabadiliko kubwa sana.
Lucy Kwekwe of Kenya Police Bullets won the Golden Boot as Lorenda Akinyo of Ulinzi Starlets was declared the most valuable player. Meanwhile, the Kenya Police football teams presented the trophies they won in the FKF Premier League and Mozartbet Cup to their patron, Dr. Raymond Omolo, who is the Principal Secretary, State Department of Internal Security and National Administration, in a ceremony witnessed by Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba.
People who are in this space of football economy, you really must appreciate what this government has done to return Kenya into the football ecosystem and build a momentum to start growing our sports and our football which had died.
And indeed, congratulations to Ulinzi Starlets for the FKF Women's Cup triumph. And also remember that Kenya Police FC will be learning of their opponents in the preliminary round of the CAF Confederations Cup tomorrow when the draw will be conducted. Moving on, upcoming table tennis star Ahmed Adnan Nurani is among 4 Kenyan players who will be taking part in their maiden ITF Africa Youth Championship scheduled for the 14th of July in Botswana. Now, the Kenyan team, which is self-sponsored, is scheduled to leave the country for the championship this Saturday. Ahmed was all elated today to receive a sponsorship booster from Serena Hotel to cater for his travel and accommodation expenses, as well as the coaches saying that he will be all out to give his best performance for the country in the ITF Africa Youth Championship. Now, the rising star, who was supposed to be an Olympian one day, will be accompanied by Sayam Shah, Phil Njau and Anab Fad in the championship that has attracted more than 100 table tennis players from the continent.
Your sponsorship is not just my financial support, but also a vote of confidence in my abilities and dreams. It has allowed me to focus on training and preparing, knowing that I have a team of supporters behind me.
And Kisumu Day and Boarding High School football team has received a major boost ahead of the Nyanza Regional School Games, which began today in Kisii. The team received a cash donation of 80,000 Kenya shillings, footballs and game kits from the local political leadership, including the office of the Kisumu Senator and the Michael Olunga Foundation. Now, the team's head coach, Buka Odhiambo, expressed confidence of a victorious outing following the boost, adding that they will be all out to give the other counties' representatives a run for the prestigious titles. Kisumu Day and Boarding High School football team will be flying the Kisumu County flag in the Nyanza Regional Ball Games.
sport is a very essential element of education. So we have been working closely with the school since the exercise began, and we thought it wise just to come and have a short discussion with the players before they leave and the entire school, just to wish them all the best.
The school has been lucky because it partners with the Michael Olunga Football Academy. And the Michael Olunga Football Academy has given us a donation that will possibly go to the tune of about 500,000 shillings for this tournament. And it has not come in terms of cash. He has given us high-quality imported sets of uniforms, 3 of them, the red, the white, and the green.
The team has trained well over the December holidays. The team was in the camp training. We never went home. Every holiday, the team was also in the school training. So if all goes well, I think we are going to lift this trophy, which we missed last year.
That's it from the sports this hour. Remember that the Euro second semi-final is kicking off at 10 p.m. That's between England and Holland. We'll have this and other results from Copa America. That's in our bulletins tomorrow. But that's it from me. Remember that keep it KBC Channel 1 because we have the free-to-air Olympic right here. Your true sports partner will bring you the championship from Paris, France. I'm Bernardo Kumu. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Thank you very much, Bernardo Kumu. Of course, that puts a cap on Prime Edition. But just a reminder, that the FTA rights are on KBC from the 26th to 11th. You'll be able to watch that action right here on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner. Now, up next, earlier we spoke to the Principal Secretary in charge of the State Department for Investment Promotion, PS Abubakar Hassan Abubakar, regarding the economic empowerment program that comes through investment. And here is our conversation. Have a wonderful viewing and good night. Good evening and welcome to this end of Prime Edition. Tonight we speak to the Principal Secretary, Investments Promotion, Abubakar Hassan Abubakar. And there's so much to speak about, including some of the recent events in the country. PS, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, John.
Absolutely. You know, let's begin with the mandate of your State Department established under the Executive Order 1 of 2023. But most importantly, what is the goal and vision of the State Department?
A lot of achievements. First, let me talk of maybe qualitative achievements and then quantitative achievements. From the qualitative achievements in the year 2023, and under the leadership of His Excellency the President, I think Kenya has been rated #1 in Africa as a country with the greatest investment momentum. And the source of that is the FTA intelligence. Okay? Bloomberg also rated Kenya #1. In fact, they said it's the Singapore of Africa. So qualitatively, those were the ratings we got in terms of positioning ourselves as a premier and a preferred investment destination. But quantitatively, according to the Africa Big Deals or the Africa Investment Report, Kenya was #1 in terms of attracting startup funding. We managed to, in the last 1 year, we managed to attract $800 million in terms of startup funding. In terms of domestic private investment, you know, any investment needs investment financing. So you measure the money by the financing of that investment. So in Kenya, the credit to the private sector, when we started, it was around 380 billion. In 2023, it had increased to 480 billion. So we have managed to attract 100 billion more in terms of domestic private investment. And that is loan. You know, any loan which is given, it's maybe 70%. So 35% is equity. So if 100 billion was loan, then that means, and that is 70%, then 30% equity. So it looks like we have managed to attract private investment, domestic private investment of almost 150 billion Kenya shilling. But most importantly is on the foreign investment, what we have been able to attract. According to the UNCTAD report of 2023, Kenya had attracted $750 million in 2022. In 2023, we have managed to attract 1.5 billion. So we have doubled the foreign investment from 750 to 1.5 billion US dollar. So those are the qualitative and the quantitative achievements that this new State Department, it's a new State Department, has been able to achieve in terms of investments are concerned.
As we talk about those achievements, P.S., I'm sure you've seen the conversations ongoing, and what tops the agenda is youth unemployment.
Yes.
Based on what is ongoing, what do you think are the interventions of your State Department in resolving this big puzzle called youth unemployment?
Okay. Of course, when we are attracting this investment, we are expecting this investment to be invested. They are invested in economic activities that will create job creation. His Excellency the President is deliberate and intentional in creating jobs for the youth. And he has 4 programs which are very close to his heart. One is the affordable housing program, where we believe that many of our youths are going to be absorbed there. Around 160,000 so far have been absorbed into his housing program. But the second program for youth employment is the digital space. The digital jobs. The government is investing in a lot of in the ICT infrastructure, and our youth are very techy, right? So a lot of jobs we intend to create almost 1.5 million jobs there in different sectors in the ICT in the ICT space. For example, we are focusing mainly on the BPO space. The president, I think last month but 2. Just open a BPO enterprise in one of our special economic zone, with just one employed over 5,000 youth. So that in the digital space, that is where His Excellency the President is focusing on creating digital jobs.
Still dealing with the ongoings in the country, the rejection of a finance bill obviously means the government has to look for other alternatives. One of them being to use the finance bill 2023. That is the one we used last year.
Yes.
What opportunities exist in that finance bill that investors can leverage on since the 2024 one has been rejected?
Wow, many opportunities. That bill was the best bill for business community, I believe.
The 2024 bill?
The 2023. The 2024 now is res judicata. It has already been determined that it has been rejected. Although it was also good, in my view, the only problem was the information asymmetry. It has not been communicated well to the people it was affecting, and it's unfortunate that it was withdrawn by the president. But we have learned the lesson. We are going to improve on that in the communication. But the 2023 is what we'll rely on. And it is good, in my view, for the investment and the business community, because it lowers the cost of doing business. For example, in the 2023, when you import, for example, goods, there's something called railway development levy or import declaration fee. It was reduced from 3.5% to 2.5%. The railway development levy reduced from 2% to 1.5%. We have also eliminated those the RDL and the IDF if you are importing raw material for manufacturing. So that is one of that was in the Finance Act of 2023.
I want us to move a bit away from that and talk about the Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Union. Kenya has walked a long journey, really, to get to where we are in terms of it being ratified by Cabinet, even being ratified by the European Union Parliament. But the question is, for the normal Kenyan out there who has had this term being floated around, EPA, European Union,
Partnership
question is, what benefit does it accrue, for Kenyans?
Oh, okay. In investments, there are 3 things which are drivers of investments. Yeah, even when we go to attract foreign investment, the foreigners you'll get 3 types of foreign investment: market seeking, FDI; efficiency seeking, FDI; and resource seeking, FDI. So that is where the rubber meets. Once you have all the environment and all that, that is where the discussion will be. If I invest, I'll produce something, where will I sell? Is there a market for what we are going to produce? And that is where we are working on expanding and diversifying the market for any investor who will set up here.
When you talk about EPA, most of the people who have heard about this think it is just solely about exports. And when we talk about exports, the normal products that we sell here, that is tea, avocado, coffee, and stuff like that. Does the scope go beyond the traditional exports that Kenya is known for?
Yes, it goes again more than that. But before you can export, you must be competitive. So we are already internationally competitive in terms of our tea, coffee, horticulture. We are already internationally competitive. So we can work on that because we have the strength there. We become better so that nobody can beat us. But there is scope for other products to be exported to those markets. Yeah.
Let's talk about your recent visit to South Korea. Yes. You were accompanying the president there when he was in South Korea. Yes. And as you were making reference earlier, much of what the president gets bashing for is this international travel. The question is, that one for South Korea, because I saw you there, what is in it for Kenyans? Yeah.
First of all, let me tell you this. You know, when this department was established, we were looking at the statistics of the foreign investment into Kenya, and the statistics was that it was declining. The best ever foreign investment in Kenya was in 2011. It was around 2.1 billion, and the source is anchored. Yeah. Then for the last 5 years, from 2018, the best was 1.1 billion US dollar, and it was declining like this. So when we came in 2021, it was the lowest. It was around 460 million US dollars. So we wanted to revise that, yeah, to reverse that trend. And we were asking ourselves, what are the barriers? What is causing this decline? And number one barrier, which had a lot of weight, was inadequate global positioning. Yeah, we were not in the global map for the investors to feel us. And that's why the president took the initiative under his leadership to profile Kenya out there. Yeah, put us on the global map. And as a result of that, you're seeing the qualitative ratings. We are number one in Africa in terms of the country of the greatest investment momentum. So that is what he has done. So he's doing in his diplomacy out there. He's focusing on economic diplomacy, on how to strengthen and broadening and deepening our trade and investment relationship. So with respect to South Korea. First of all, South Korea is a country which we should be interested because of their journey to prosperity. You can see if you read the history, Kenya used to aid South Korea, but now South Korea is giving aid to many countries and is among the 20th most industrialized nation. And Kenya is already a hub for many South Korean companies like the Samsung and the Hyundai. But our job there was really looking for how are we going to position ourselves, because it was a summit, South Korea-Africa summit, right? South Korea, they have an interest in Africa. We also have an interest in South Korea. But how do we position Kenya as a gateway to Africa? And that is why the president went to do that. For example, in terms of the outbound FDI from South Korea, if you look at the statistic in 2023, there was 63 billion US dollar outward FDI. But what came to Africa was less than 0.1%. So we want to position, the president wants to position Kenya on how we can get a slice of that FDI. If we can even get 5%, that is already almost 3 billion US dollars just from South Korea. Because South Korea they're very good in electronics. You're aware of that. They are the second largest manufacturer of semiconductors. In the electric vehicle battery. In the market, they have a market of almost 25% market share in the world. But in the EV battery, 95% of their critical minerals, they import it. Yeah, and we believe as a country, they can come here. We believe we have those minerals, critical minerals for that EV battery. So they can. We wanted to attract them here so that they can explore, extract, and refine, process those minerals.
You talked about the reason why the president was there, accompanied by you and other government officials, to pitch, particularly for Kenya, ready for investment and ready for business. Do you think you succeeded in that?
Yes, we did, and we have gotten a lot of leads. We were there with the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce. As our private sector, we have a lot of leads. We have now developed a pipeline. We are now working on converting those leads to actual investment deals and actual deployment of the capital into our Kenyan economy.
Let me take you to New Jersey. Allow me to take you to New Jersey because, because when the president was on a state visit to the US, you were in New Jersey also, where you spoke to members of the Kenyan diaspora in New Jersey.
Yes.
And one of the promises you gave is to protect their investments once they invest back home. How do you plan to do that?
Okay, let me say this. The diaspora market, the diaspora remittance market, is around 600 billion market. Yeah, out of that diaspora remittance, out of that only 100 billion comes to Africa, and in Kenya we've only managed to attract 4 billion US dollars. And the problem, we have looked at the research. The problem is that 4 billion is only 5% of the disposable income of our diaspora guys. So if they can just give us 10% of their disposable income, we will just double from 4 to 8 billion US dollars. And if we can convert that 50% to investment, we will really help in our investment. But the reason why they are not giving, they're not sending more, they're just sending 5%, is because of lack of trust. They're saying we send our money there and they don't. It's not being used constructively for investment. Most of it is used for consumption. If anything is for investment, they don't trust. So I went there to give them assurance that we have investment vehicles in Kenya, that if you invest in Kenya, your money will be safe. And now you increase the amount of your disposable income from 5 to 10%. And that is why I was telling them their money will be safe.
As we wind up, yes, we are in a period of accountability.
Yes.
That is what Kenyans are speaking out there.
Yes.
What would you want Kenyans to hold you accountable for during your time as the Principal Secretary, State Department for Investments Promotion?
You need to be held accountable. First, I need to say this. His Excellency the President has, his agenda is economic transformation agenda. Whenever there is a transformation, especially economic transformation, there is redistribution of benefits. So it's a painful exercise for those who feel like it's not business as usual. So this pain it's deemed to be there, and it's whether we can humiliate for some time and then we become better, or we don't. As we just need to believe in the plan and trust the process of doing it, because as I told you earlier, if there's no pain, no gain. But what I need to be accountable is the mandate I was given. The mandate is to increase the level of private investment into the Kenyan economy, because the president wants his policy, he wants the economy, our economic growth, to be private sector led and private sector investment-led economic growth. So I need to be accountable on how I'm attracting, is investment increasing into the Kenyan economy, and whether that investment is beneficial to the Kenyans in terms of creating jobs for our youth. And I think with the grace of God, we have been able to do something for the country in a special way.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, PS. We wish you all the very best, of course, as you continue to dispense your mandate. We've been speaking to the Principal Secretary for Investments Promotion, that is PS Abubakar Hassan Abubakar. And that's just Kenya's grand plan for investment, but most importantly, what is being done to address the unemployment problem in the Republic. So we put a cap on Prime Edition. Have yourself a good night. God bless.